Hey guys, and welcome back to my journey of me building an affiliate website using Django and React Stack. In today's video, I will want to explore content management system built on top of the Django, Wagtail.io. Wagtail.io is one of the rich content management systems that allows you to create a structured content. This is the reason why I chose Wagtail over other content management systems such as Django CMS. Another reason why I chose this project is that it is completely open source and there should be a huge community helping each other with the development, and also there's a huge database of user created add-ons, which is the sign that people love to develop on top of this platform for free. Lastly, Wagtail should be well documented, so I should not have any issues going through the documentation and install Wagtail from scratch. And essentially this is what will be this video about. I will go through the Wagtail.io documentation and I will try to implement content management system into my Django project. So without further ado, let's get started. So here on the Wagtail.io webpage, I will click on documentation, and in the documentation I'm looking for getting started section, which is here. Right from the beginning it is written that this tutorial will be about adding Wagtail.io into an existing Django project. This is a very important part, and the dependencies that we need to have solved before we even start with installation is to have a Python 3, which I have already installed, and there's a requirement to have libjpeg and zlib libraries installed for Django's Pylo library. So I don't have none of these libraries yet, so probably I should install those packages into my virtual environment. So according to the homebrew page, I should use the command brew install zlib, and it will install the zlib library into my MacBook. So let's try that. Let's install zlib with command brew install zlib. Installation finished, and now I can look into the ways how to install jpeg-lib, and the command seems very similar. Brew install libjpeg. Cool, apparently I have jpeg 9D already installed and up to date. So let's move into Wagtail documentation again and quickly install Wagtail. I will do that with command pipenv install Wagtail, and it says that once installed, Wagtail provides a command similar to Django's Django admin start projects to generate a new site or project. This will create a new folder my site based on a template containing everything you need. Inside my site folder, run the setup steps necessary for any Django project. So apparently it will migrate the database structure, create a super user and run the server, and then I will be able to access my Wagtail blog with the URL http localhost with the port 8000, with the backend available at the same URL with the admin at the end. This will set up a new standalone Wagtail project, but if I want to integrate Wagtail into a Django project, there's another tutorial. So I think that this is my case. I want to integrate Wagtail into existing Django project, not vice versa. So I will click on this tutorial, and it seems to fortunately have the same starting point. It started with installing the Wagtail library, so I didn't mess up a lot. And then in the settings file, I should add following apps into installed app list. I will go into Visual Studio Code right now. Once my project is opened, I will find the settings.py, which is saved in the Tenix folder, and I will add a new section for Wagtail applications, and I will copy paste all the applications that are mentioned in the tutorial. Here we go. At the next step, they want me to add a new entry into middleware list, which is right below installed app list. So here I will add again a new section, so I know that these new settings comes from Wagtail, and I have inserted the Wagtail middleware redirect middleware. Then they tell me to set a static root path, which I already did in the previous tutorials. Next step is to add Wagtail site name variable, which will be displayed on the main dashboard of the Wagtail admin backend. I will add it into settings.py somewhere, maybe here. Wagtail site name names equals to 10x, and there are various other settings available to configure. So let me just quickly go through the settings documentation. Site name, we have it defined already. Append slash, don't add trailing slash to Wagtail server URLs. Keep it turned on, so it will add appending slash at the end of each URL. Next setting is search, Wagtail search backend. I don't think I will need it right now. It seems to be like a full text search for an admin dashboard. Internalization settings is very handy if I have multilingual website, which I don't intend to have. Embed, Wagtail supports generating embed code from URL to content on an external provider such as YouTube or Twitter. This is a great thing that Wagtail will parse the content from the URL from these social medias and embed it directly into your content. And I believe the default is set to true, so I will leave it as it is. Next setting is dashboard. These settings let you change the number of items shown at your most recent edits on the dashboard, and the default is 5, and I think 5 is fine, so I will skip this setting. Images. The settings let you provide your own image model for use in Wagtail, which might extend built-in abstract image class or replace it entirely. This is fairly a complex question if I want to have a custom image model, and I will have to study the documentation a little bit more, how the images are restored. If there's a timestamp in the path of the image, if it crops the image and creates a different dimension, will it also be saved in the same folder or another folder? Those are the questions I have right now, and I don't want to go too deep into this area, so let's skip it and move to the next setting. Documents determines how document downloads will be linked to and served. So this setting is for a situation when you want to give user the ability to download a file, a document or something else, and you can either give an URL pointing to the underlying storage and bypassing the Django's permission check, or you can redirect the user to a Django's views which user has access to. And the last settings is that it redirects the user and it will serve the file as well. I cannot see a use case right now, so I will skip this setting. Password management. This seems to be really important, and this settings is about allowing the user to change the password, which I guess there's no need to set up ad hoc. Everything should be turned on by default. So let's skip to email notification. Here you can set up your email account and you can receive a notification whenever there's an article that needs a moderation. Again, I'm missing information if this is enabled by default or not, but since we are at the beginning, let's skip this setting and maybe return back to it later. Wagtail update notifications is almost the same setting. Private pages and documents is the path to Django template, which will lock the content from the user that has not a permission to download the file. It might become handy for membership sites where you locked your PDF ebook from other users, while you can allow your subscribers to visit the web page and download the file. Next is login page. Login page are default paths to login templates. This will be very useful when I want to have a custom designed login page. Case insensitive tags, multi-word tags, also not interested. Time zones, yeah, I think I will set up later both date and time inputs and time zones. API settings, this is interesting. This might be interesting for my use case when I will want to include a single page application built in JavaScript framework that will communicate with Wagtail or Django backend. Front-end cache, that might come handy for static pages, and it seems like it used Varnish instead of other keys value chain storages. Next is rich text. Here we can customize the behavior of rich text fields, and other settings are just nice to have. I'm surprised by the sheer amount of the settings that you can modify your Wagtail installation. Most of them are very successful, and it seems like the creator thought about content creators and allowed them to either turn some things on or off depending on their needs. But let's get back into Wagtail's tutorial and finish the Wagtail integration into our Django project. Now as the next step, I have to add Wagtail URLs into my urls.py. So I will open the urls.py inside my Tenix application, and then I will copy paste all the imports from this code block. Then I will add the new URLs underneath the default Django URLs. So apparently Wagtail has its own admin dashboard, and it shares the same URLs as the Django's default admin dashboard at the /admin path. So instead you can set that you want to separate those two backends and give the Wagtail dashboard separate URLs such as CMS. Wagtail also handles all the URLs pointing to the pages. If I want Wagtail to handle all the URLs, I need to use this URL, but I don't want to do that right now. I only want Wagtail to handle content related pages, nothing else. After URLs are set, we have to define the settings for the case when user upload the files, and we can do that by adding static settings.media URL with the parameter document root equals to settings.media root. Let's import all the Django functions as well. The part about user accounts tell us that Wagtail use default user model on top of the Django quite extensively, so I think I have created a super user before. I will check it later, and if I did, then I should have an access to Wagtail admin dashboard by default by using this super user login account. And that's it for the initial installation. According to the documentation, I'm now ready to start a Django project, start adding new applications into installed applications, and set up page models as described in first Wagtail site tutorial. And this is something I need to set up right now if I want to start publish the new content. Also at the end of the tutorial, there's a little warning that if we are not using Wagtail project template, Wagtail creates an initial homepage of the basic type page, which does not include any content field beyond title, and I would want to replace it with my homepage class, and I have to set up a site record under the Wagtail admin to point to my custom homepage. Alright, let's see what's next. The next is just story about Wagtail. So let's check if the website is running after the installation. I will start website with unicorn command, and it seems that it failed. And if I go into my local website tenix.local, it gives me bad gateway. Okay, according to the logs, there is no module named homepage Wagtail, and homepage Wagtail is not mentioned anywhere in the settings, so it must be one of the default Wagtail settings. So let's look at the documentation, and it seems to return 0 results. Okay, I cannot figure out what's wrong with the Wagtail installation. I went through all the steps over again, and there's just one step that I skipped, which is Wagtail database structure migration, because I did not set up any database backend yet for my Django project. Since the beginning, I left all the settings on default, which means that right now my Django project uses SQLite database, which is not ideal. What I want to use in a production environment as well is Postgres database, but I think that installation and setup a Postgres SQL database deserves a separate video. So that will be all for today. In the meantime, I will Google around why my Wagtail installation throws bad gateway error, and in the next video I will show you how to install and set up a Postgres SQL database into Django Wagtail project, and hopefully after installation my project will work out of the box. So if you like this video and want to support me in this journey, then like, subscribe, write in the comment below what is your most favorite content management system for Django, and see you next time.